How is everybody? This is an interview I did with the legendary geezer Butler back on November 27th, 1995. Geezer was doing a solo project, and that's when we got together and talked. So hope you guys like it. Thanks.
Is this project something that you've been thinking about for a while?
Yeah.
I mean, why now?
I tried it before and I didn't. I sort of get severely put off by the record companies that were around by then because it was like in the mid-80s and everybody else was doing all that pop rock stuff. And there was me doing my little heavy stuff, and it was like everybody was saying, "Well, go away and write a couple of nice commercial songs, and then we'll give you a deal."
Really?
And I just got completely disillusioned with the whole thing. And
Sabbath was over?
that was the first time I left Sabbath. Yeah, I took a couple of years off to actually see my kids, and in fact got together with the guitarist who's on the album now.
Really?
Yeah.
Same guy?
Yeah. But we had a problem trying to find the right singer at the time, and we were sort of making do with this one guy that we had. But like, I just got a bit delusional. I've been like everybody telling me what music I'm supposed to be playing, and so I shelved that. I did the Ozzy tour, and went back to Sabbath for a couple of albums, and then I'd just been writing. And once I'd started writing, like as a solo thing, I just couldn't stop, and I was writing more and more. And in fact, a lot of the stuff that I wrote for the original solo project ended up on the Dehumanizer album when Ronnie came back to the band. So that gave me a lot of confidence, the fact that it finally got done. And then I got totally disillusioned with the last Sabbath album that I was on, and I just much preferred the stuff that I was writing to the stuff that Sabbath are doing. So it was time to leave.
And what was your last Sabbath record?
Cross Purposes, which wasn't even supposed to be a Sabbath album, so I wouldn't have even done it.
Really?
Under the pretense of Sabbath, if I'd have known that it was coming out as a Sabbath album, because that was the time when the original band were talking about getting back together for the reunion tour, and Tony and myself just went in with a couple of other people and did an album just to have out while the reunion tour was going on. There's like an I Army Butler project album, and then the reunion tour fell through, and of course the record company went, "Well, I'm putting this out as a Sabbath album." So, bollocks. And that was it. I just got totally disillusioned with the whole thing and just didn't want to have anything to do with it anymore.
So what did you? So you kept writing?
Yeah.
After that, I mean.
I just I've always wanted to do like a heavy album and get back to what Sabbath used to, what I used to do in Sabbath, get back to the heaviness again. And with all the bands that around today saying that Sabbath had influenced them, some of the mega heavy bands saying that, I thought, what the hell is Sabbath? Why do like wimp music when we could be doing heavy stuff? And I just felt the time was right, and the stuff that I was doing I was pleased with, and just fell into place.
So I mean, in Sabbath, most of the lyrics were yours, or all the lyrics
the original,
were yours?
Yeah, not well, about 95%.
Really? So Ozzy really had not much to do with the actual songwriting?
He came up with the vocal lines, the melody
Melodies,
lines,
right.
and he'd come up with, like for instance, Iron Man. He came up with the line Iron Man, so I wrote the lyrics around that subject.
I see.
He used to be good at coming up with like just one line, so that would give you the inspiration to write the rest of the song.
So, with this new project, I mean, is the music yours? I mean, how much actual music writing do you do?
Well, between me and the guitarist, I'd say probably 60% mine and 40% the guitarist. It's really hard to judge because we work so well together that I'll come out with a bass riff and then he'll put like some chords to go with that, and then I'll carry on from there. So it's like definitely 50-50 or 60-40. I really don't know, but
yeah. So you do your composing on bass?
Most of the time, yeah, or guitar.
You do play guitar?
But I'm not brilliant at guitar, so when I play guitar, it sounds like bass anyway. You know, it's all riffs. I can only really write riffs, and the guitarist translates some of the stuff into chords, and he's great at doing that, which is why I like working with him.
So what kind of a guitar player? Well, I mean, you'd met him years ago. I mean, what were you looking for in a guitar player? I mean, was it another Tony, or was it somebody completely different, or
somebody that could listen to what I was doing on bass and transpose that onto guitar without losing the heaviness? Because what I've found in the past, I've come up with like a real heavy bass riff, and then the guitarist will take that and put like nice chords to it and completely lose the whole point of the song. Whereas Pedro, he can take the bass riff and turn them into real heavy chords. Sometimes he makes his own chords up just to keep the heaviness going, and it works. You know, it's just what I want.
Yeah. So I mean, what is it you wanted to say with your first solo record? I mean, there must have been a lot kind of internalized kind of things. I mean, how did you want people to see Geezer Butler as solo artist, ex Black Sabbath bass player? I mean,
just the fact that I hadn't lost my enthusiasm, you know, I hadn't lost direction, and that I could do more than just play bass. And to be honest, I wasn't even thinking about anything like that. I just wanted to get my music done. Whether I was even thinking about putting it on, you know, my own label and distributing it myself at one point.
You were?
Yeah, because I didn't want anybody to tell me what sort of stuff to do. I was really frightened of record companies. And then when I met with TVT and the company in England, they said, you know, we believe in. They hadn't heard anything that I was doing. They just said, we believe in whatever you do. It's going to be great, you know, or good anyway. And and just left me to it. And it was like, oh yeah, this is great. This is nothing like it used to be. And it was brilliant.
Do you like the idea of being like the biggest kid on the block? I mean, the strongest kid. I mean, do you like that?
Yeah, I like to have complete control over my music, because it really means something when I do a song. I'm sort of really sensitive about my music. I don't like people telling me to change this or change that or interfere with it. And so this time, and Ozzy always kept telling me to do a solo thing. He says there's no feeling in the world like it, because you got total control. You don't have to deal with everybody else's egos and say, and like have to like agree with something that you don't really like. And it was great. It was just great to write something, have it end up probably better than you even thought it was, instead of worse, you know, and massacred. And it was just a great feeling. So it's just the way I want to do it from now on.
Do you think your bass playing has risen to a different level on this record as opposed to like the Sabbath stuff? I mean, it seems like maybe a little more demanding.
It was totally different. It was completely different, because it was exactly the way. Because I write on bass, it was coming, instead of having to like the guitarist take over and do those riffs on guitar and then having to put the bass around what he's doing. It was like, this is the bass, this is the riff. It was like going back to the old Sabbath again, like NIB and the song Black Sabbath.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like that. You know, you do the bass riff and the guitarist just plays to your bass riff.
Right, so Black Sabbath, the song was a bass lick. I mean,
yeah, and NIB. And it is, that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to win medals for how many notes I could play in 1 millisecond or anything. It was just, I just wanted to play riffs on bass and not stray off the main thing like I do on the Sabbath stuff.
How much different is it playing with Dean, like as opposed to Bill?
Well, I mean, Dean's such an attacking. Just got such an attacking style. It's just really an aggressive style, you know. But as is the music, he really is just a totally different drummer. I mean, Bill was much more of a feel sort of a drummer, and there's nobody. Bill's unique.
Yeah.
Dean's very modern. You know, it's what drummers do these days.
Yeah, he's
great.
Incredible. Really is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned the record companies. I mean, were you worried at all, or did you think about, well, Geezer Butler is the bass player from Black Sabbath, and can he translate into a band of his own? I mean, did you think about those things, or did you just say,
No, I never did. I just had so much confidence in the music that I was doing that I'd have been happy even if it didn't come out as on any live or anything. If I had it to just for me to listen to at home. But I've been doing that for 10 years now, and I thought it was about time, I'll let somebody else hear it. It's sort of, you need that final thing, it's okay listening to your own music and in your own house and stuff, but
mm-hmm,
it's a nice feeling when other people hear it.
mm-hmm,
And no, I just didn't want to go around and try and to all the big record companies and try and sell myself, and go all that route again. I just didn't want to do that at all. I didn't want to embarrass myself or anything else.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to do it in a quiet way,
mm-hmm.
and which is the way I did it.
You mentioned earlier about all the bands who cite Black Sabbath as a big influence. I mean, can you sense the influence Sabbath has had on these bands? I mean, can you hear it? And
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean the whole style of the music, the lyrical content, just the heaviness of it, and the riffs, and the way the bass and guitar play together, everything. And
yeah,
some of the stuff you go, I can't remember recording that.
yeah, it is amazing.
But I like the bands that have taken the essence of it and doing their own thing.
Mm-hmm. Anybody specifically?
Just a lot of the better bands have done that. To me, the ones that just totally blatantly rip Sabbath off, well, just don't really. It's a nice compliment, but they should move on from that. That we did that 20 years ago. But I like bands like Metallica and Pantera and Machine Head, and Fear Factory I like as well.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the influences, but they've done it in a totally different way.
Right, definitely. So, I mean, does this still hold those same feelings for you as they did maybe when Sabbath first got together, in terms of, I mean, really just loving what it is? And,
This does,
the
yeah.
creative
This
process.
is the first album I've done for years where I've been really enthused about it.
Really?
And just gone in and had fun, and like been almost scared to go in to see what it was going to come out like, because none of us knew what it was going to sound like, because we'd never played together, we hadn't rehearsed together or anything because of our, I've been doing the Ozzy thing, Bert's been doing the Fear Factory thing, so we booked 2 weeks in a recording studio and just see, it was like, let's go in and see what happens. And we had 2 days rehearsal.
Really?
And did the whole album in 12 days.
Wow.
So none of us knew what was going to happen.
How long did it take to do the first Sabbath record? That's pretty good, wasn't it?
2 days, the first Sabbath, but we'd had 18 months in which to write and play together. Now this was even scarier than that, because we'd never played together before.
Wow.
We just went in and did it.
Wow. So, for you, I mean, is a session pretty much guitar, bass, and drums out there playing, and then going back and maybe adding second guitar parts or vocals? I mean, is it a pretty live performance?
It's almost totally live.
It was.
There's just a couple of guitar overdubs, and that's about it really. There was no effects on the bass or anything. All the drum tracks were done in 2 days.
Really?
Yeah, including getting the sound.
Wow.
Because we literally had 12 days to do it. I had to go back and rehearse with Ozzy, and Bert had to go on the road with Fear Factory. We just didn't have any time to spare at all.
Wow.
And yeah, it's about as live as you're ever going to get.
You mentioned there's no effects on the bass. I mean, how do you record your bass? Is it an amp and direct, or?
Yeah, well, this time I wanted to get like a real aggressive feel to it, so I was actually using, like, as well as the bass equipment, a Marshall guitar amp as well, through a Marshall guitar speaker.
Really?
So there's like the bass setup, then the guitar setup, and then I think I used some direct as well.
And what is your bass setup?
Ampeg SVTs.
Really?
And in the studio I was using Ampeg 8x10s and Trace Elliott 15s. but I don't use that live.
You use SVTs live?
Yeah, I use the SVTs live, but I have custom built Marshall cabs with EV speakers in for live. They're extra big cabinets that they had to make for me.
What kind of stuff did you used to use with Sabbath?
Anything free.
Didn't you guys use
Ampeg?
Ampeg?
I've always liked Ampeg.
Yeah.
But that was but then they went out of business for like about 10 years
That's
or something.
right.
So I switched to mainly Crown power amps with I think I was using an Alembic preamp at one point, and I used to change it all the time. Marshall preamps. And
Laney never made the bass.
Oh yeah, well, Laney's
I know that
is
Tony
what
used
we
all that stuff.
yeah,
That was your
Laney's
main
what
stuff, right?
what I very first started out using, and then as the band got bigger and bigger, like the Laney stuff was too unreliable, so I switched to Ampeg back probably about 1971 or something.
Yeah, I've always loved Ampeg.
Oh, they're great,
are
yeah.
just like the greatest. Has your sound gotten better? I mean, do you think you've learned how to?
No, it's always hit and miss with me. I mean, the engineer that I was using is absolutely brilliant at understanding what I'm trying to do, because usually I'll go into a studio and the engineer or the producer hasn't got a clue how to get the sound that I want, because I always think the bass should be nice and round and deep and smooth and everything else. And when I tell them I want it distorted with like a really growly bottom end and everything, no, you can't do bass like that. So it's always been a battle. And but Paul Northfield, who also engineered the Ozzy album, he was just incredible at getting the bass sound. I told him what I wanted, and he just got it straight away. And so I just thought, he's got to do my album. And I think I've got it a lot better than I used to have it now. Yeah, it seems easier for me to, because before I just didn't have a clue how to get the bass sound. I just let the roadie do it and just go on and play. And I think with me, it's like everybody says that no matter what I'm using, what bass or equipment, I always get that sound anyway. It's just the same as Tony always gets his sound, and you find that with a lot of people. Whatever the sound is, no matter what guitar or amp they're using, they get that sound.
Exactly. Which I think is really the sign of.
It's all down to your technique, I think, the way you play.
Yeah, and I mean, I think real players, have that. You can tell who's playing. If they're playing with an acoustic guitar, Jeff Beck is Jeff Beck always. Or Page, but
it's like my tech says, or when he's playing, he's like, "God, this is awful," and then I'll play, and it's just totally different. So it's just one of those things.
Yeah. And you produced the record?
I co-produced it. I mean, the technical side was all done by Paul Northfield. I just gave doing the yes and no's and do that and do this, but he actually got all the sounds and everything.
Is it that you really didn't want to have somebody else come in and?
Yeah, well, I've had it so many times in the past when there's been, and I also didn't want everybody in the band to be putting the bit in like happened in Sabbath. It was like, because everybody has their own idea of what a mix should be or what a sound should be. And when you get like 4 people supposedly producing an album, it's always, you have to take so long. So this time it was just it was all basically left up to me how everything had to sound, which is great,
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about the track "Giving Up the Ghost"? I mean, is that sort of the eulogy for Black Sabbath?
It's giving up that whole thing, and originally the album was going to be called "Giving Up the Ghost," and the band was going to be called "Giving Up the Ghost."
Really?
The whole project was, because I was that's how I felt about the whole thing at the time. And it's just the disappointment and the frustration and the fact that Sabbath is going on in like just a band that's absolutely nothing to do with Black Sabbath, apart from one member is still going around calling itself Black Sabbath, and I was when I did the last Sabbath tour, I was embarrassed that it was called Black Sabbath.
You were.
It was, especially now that the band has sort of got this legendary status, like the original lineup, and it's impossible to live up to that. It really is. And I got to, you talk to the kids and stuff, and the other musicians, and they just don't have any respect for people that go out calling themselves Black Sabbath. And when people were saying that to me, when I was in the band, going, "What the hell would you keep going on as Black Sabbath? You're not Black Sabbath." And I realised that it wasn't. It just isn't Black Sabbath. And it was just going down and down and down, and it was just like, before the name is totally destroyed, I want to get out of this, and time to give up the ghost sort of thing. That's where that song came from.
So you rather would have seen the name retired, basically, when the band broke up that last time?
It should have been retired. Well, when Ozzy left, but it's all right saying that now in hindsight. But I think after the second version with Ronnie Dio, when that split up, that should have been it. Then put it to rest once and for all.
What is it like playing with Ozzy again?
It's fun doing. It's fun with him. I mean, it's just like you just go on, you have fun every night because he's just as mental as ever on the stage. And I don't know. That's the way I look at it. It's like a fun gig because the songs are sort of classics in their own right. Everybody knows them. Everybody just has a great time. Whereas my stuff's a lot like sort of serious, and everybody like stands there listening to. When we did the gig in New York at the Limelight, everybody was just like this. Not this real serious gig. But with Ozzy, it's like everybody just has a great time. It's just fun playing that stuff. And it's great when we do the old Sabbath stuff, because it really does sound like Sabbath stuff without having to call itself Sabbath. It's great to hear him sing those things.
I mean, so there was never really any bad blood between you and Ozzy at the end there?
It's off and on between me and him. We have massive fights and don't speak to each other for 2 years. And it's like, I've probably said at least 3 times I'll never ever play with Ozzy again in my life. And then time goes by and we start talking again, get together again.
Yeah.
Just one of those sorts of relationships. Weird.
How do you feel about Ozzy's new record in terms of your input?
That was a completely new experience for me, because it's the first time I haven't done an album where I haven't been at the conception of it. From like zero to a final album. It was just like go in and do your bass bits. I've never done that before. It was more like a session musician. So it was strange. Just going and putting my bass bits down and then going home. All these new experiences are good to go through. It was good to work with Michael Beinhorn and Paul Northfield, just well respected, and
which brought a kind of a little new wrinkle to what Ozzy was doing, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you keep all your best playing for your own record?
I hope not.
So, I mean, do you think the world of rock is in a healthy state now? I loved, I hate to keep going back, but I loved when Sabbath first came out. I just loved that whole period of English music and all those bands and the Birmingham thing. I loved all that. And, will it ever be that ripe and fertile again?
It can't possibly, because there's so many bands now. And the record companies, as soon as one sort of thing becomes popular, that's all will sign. So, this so-called punk thing that's going on now. It's like you hear Green Day and then you hear 10 Green Days for the next 2 years. You know, in the old days, you'd only have one Emerson, Lake and Palmer, or one
Right.
Yes, or
Right.
one Sabbath, or one Deep Purple. You wouldn't get all these millions of, you know, everybody copying the same thing. It's like, you know, the Seattle sound,
Mm-hmm.
and so everybody has to sound like that. It's a shame because there's a lot of really good bands there that are getting passed by.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, you know, they're gradually building up a sort of underground following, like the heavier bands like Machine Head and Fear Factory.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it's healthy to see that there are the alternatives out there, you know, to all of the big business side of it.
Yeah, yeah. Do you remember the S Festival with you and Purple and ELP out here in Ontario?
Oh yeah, the California Jam.
California Jam, not the S Festival. Yeah, that was remarkable. That was amazing. I remember Tony had the most coke I'd ever seen. That was so great. It was just it was fun days, you know. I mean, it sounds like you're trying to have fun again with it, you know. I mean, I didn't know if I was going to come
It's
in
like
here.
full circle. It's just,
yeah.
it's just what I want to do now for the rest of me life, if I've got much left of it. Just to have fun again, and I love doing my own stuff. It's just that enthusiasm's back there, and it's so long since I've had it that I've forgotten about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like rediscovering it again, and I'm not afraid to do different music, and I can't wait to do the next one because the next one's going to be really mental. And you know, I'm not in it. I don't have to live up to any name or anything. I don't have to sell millions of albums to keep everybody happy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just doing it purely for the music instead of, like, you know, the fame and the money and whatever else. You're supposed to do it for.
So in a positive sort of way, there's really not the pressure on you that there is, say, on Tony in terms of trying to sell records, or Ozzy. I mean, I just don't think all of that pressure lies on you.
It's like going back to the very beginning, a brand new band, and having fun with it, with the music, and just seeing what you can do, and being proud of it when you do it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, lyrically, where do your ideas come from? I mean,
just everything around me in one. I mean, all the lyrics for this album, I did those in 5 days.
Really?
Just sat down at home, and the week before we went into the studio, and I thought, oh, God, I haven't got any lyrics yet. And I just sat down and wrote them, and just drawing on things that are happening, and science fiction stuff that I'm into, comics that I'm into.
That's right, you're a big comic fan, aren't you?
Yeah, things that have happened to me, like science fiction. That was like about this time when I had this like week where I kept waking up in the middle of the night, like absolutely petrified, and I felt that there was somebody standing beside my bed, just staring at me. But I couldn't see anything. I knew that just the presence in the room, and it was like that for a week. I just kept waking up and feeling this horrible bloody thing in the room in there. So that's what I wrote science fiction about. And you know, just my kids are into computers and all that, so I wrote one about the guy that gets his soul goes into the computer. Just everything that happens to me. I love writing, and my ambition is to write a book one day.
Really?
Yeah, I'd love to do that. Just fiction.
Have you ever thought about writing a book, a sort of biography?
I thought about it. I'll wait till my kids have grown up or something. Quadruple X-rated. Yeah, but I mean, a lot of the lyrics came. In fact, I started writing a comic book about 2 or 3 years ago, and a lot of when I was doing the Dehumanizer album, and some of the ideas are on, like, I turned into lyrics for this album, because I could never think of a bloody ending for the comic book.
Well, you leave the ending open so you can write volume 2.
Well, I think everybody's turned it into films and everything now. It's like every time I get an idea about something, unless I do it immediately, everybody else seems to do it. So I sort of got stuck on this comic book, and about a year after it, there was like that film Ghost in the Machine came out, and all these like computer related films and books came out all about the same thing I was doing.
So that's the kind of thing you were writing about, computers and
Yeah,
those
it
types of
was,
things.
and music. It was very complicated actually.
Mm-hmm.
It's about a band that starts off and sort of have this. Well, I'll tell you some other time.
I mean, so give me 2 pages of comics and let me put it in the book. Or give me a sketch.
Well, and originally, when we first started.
Yeah, I mean, like your influences. I mean, bands you were listening to.
Oh yeah, Cream.
Cream.
Hendrix. Oh no, when Zeppelin came out, they were great. The first album.
So you're from the same neighborhood as Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Were they playing around?
Well, I'm known plenty in Bonham. Around the clubs from their various bands that they were in.
Did you ever jam with those guys?
We did. Yeah, they came down to the studio. I think when we were making Sabbath Bloody Sabbath.
Really?
We jammed in the studio. Yeah.
I mean, who were some of the bass players that you were listening to, or that you have?
And I used to jam with plenty. I used to go into his house and jam with him a lot because we used to live near each other.
Really?
Who was the what?
Bass players. I mean, were there bass players that you listened to, or you've listened to?
Well, without a doubt, Jack Bruce.
Really?
He was just like my idol.
He was the guy.
In the Cream car. Yeah, I never even thought about a bass guitar until I went to see Cream.
Seriously?
Yeah. I still love McCartney, but for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw Jack Bruce and something just went boing in my mind, and it's like, that's what I want to do.
Wow.
And he just like completely turned me on to what bass should do. Because I had a totally different style to anybody else, and bending all the notes and everything like that.
Yeah.
I just thought he was incredible, and that's what got me into playing bass.
Did you actually start on bass as opposed to like
No,
guitar?
well, I was playing rhythm guitar at the time
in
the band that I had. Ozzy and myself had a band at the time, and I was like playing rhythm guitar with Ozzy. And
you were playing rhythm guitar with Ozzy?
What?
I'm sorry, you were playing rhythm guitar?
Yeah, Ozzy and myself used to have a band, and we used to have this guitarist, drummer, and I used to play rhythm guitar, and Ozzy was on vocals.
What was that band called?
The Rare Breed.
Rare Breed?
And me and Ozzy left, and I just didn't. Rhythm guitarists just sort of, nobody wanted them anymore. And I was seeing Cream, right, and I thought, that's what I've got to do that. So I couldn't afford a bass at the time, so I took 2 strings off my guitar. I used to play bass on me, just this bloody little horrible electric guitar I had.
Really? Wow.
And in fact, that's when we got together as like the Sabbath lineup. I was still using my guitar strung down.
Unbelievable.
I just couldn't afford anything. And then I borrowed a friend, the bass player that was in the band, his bass, to do the first few Sabbath. We were called Earth then, to do those gigs.
Right.
And that was the first time I'd ever played a bass.
Wow. You were mainly a Fender guy?
Yeah. In fact, I came back to Fender for Ozzy's album and my album. I used Visual in a couple of the Ozzy tracks. Right. But I used Visual for all the live stuff.
Mm-hmm. So, when people look back at you and your body of work, what would you like for them to say? I mean, how would you like them to remember you? I mean, what is it you think you brought?
I don't know. You'd have to ask them. It's really hard for me to look at myself like that.
So you'll be out here touring with your band?
Sometime next year, yeah. Definitely.
Okay. Great.